Jesus tells this parable, and it really is a good word for us on pilgrimage, because we're lacking in many things. We don't have the luxuries of everyday life. We don't have our hair dryers and curling irons. I don't use either of those, but I get it. We're in a hurry to get here, a hurry to get there, and we have less than what we're used to. And so the Lord is saying to us, remember you're on a pilgrimage in life. Don't store up for stuff. You can't take it with you. But what really caught my attention in this gospel as I prayed last night was an earlier phrase: take care to guard against all greed. For though you may be rich, one's life does not consist of possessions. Take care to guard against greed. People are going to be jealous that we've gone on pilgrimage. I always get it. I sense that as a priest. Oftentimes I'm a priest at a new parish. There's nobody here from my new parish. And so people are like, oh, we wish we could go with you. Why are you able to go to Poland? And so people are going to be jealous. So what we have to be able to do is we have to explain what we have done, why we've gone to this holy land, why we go on pilgrimage, why this is not a vacation. This is a pilgrimage. There's a difference. We didn't sleep in and have breakfast in bed. We didn't have all the luxuries. We hopped on a bus. We took quick showers because Olga and Alex were getting ready to leave without us. This isn't vacation. This is a pilgrimage. And so we have to be able to give them highlights of what we've experienced. And so people always ask, oh, what was your favorite thing? What was the best thing you saw? What was the best thing you experienced? And so what I always remind everyone in every pilgrimage that I've ever led is that, it's good to break it down for them. Oh, my favorite thing was this. My favorite historical thing was this. But what I always challenge my people to really reflect on is where was it that God moved your heart the most? So we're on a spiritual pilgrimage. We've seen some incredible things. We've seen some heart-wrenching things. We've seen beautiful architecture. We have a lot of blisters to prove it. But where was it that God moved your heart the most? Where was it that the Lord put his arm around you and said, I love you. I'm here with you. No matter what's going on back home, no matter what's going on in the depth of your heart, I'm with you. I love you. So I'm going to walk back through where we've been. Just do a little review. So we started off with Mass in Warsaw at the Church of Jerzy Popieściu, and Father John reminded us and gave us the life story of Father Jerzy, Saint Jerzy, Blessed Jerzy, about how he poured out his body and blood for us, and how he mimicked the life of Christ, and how we are called to mimic in that very same way. And that we're not meant to be passive, but we're meant to be active in our faith, just as Blessed Jerzy was. And then we moved on to the city of the Immaculata. I celebrated Mass there, Maximilian Kolbe's place. And there I preached on the fact that Maximilian didn't die for one. He died for all, as a witness for all. And that he's the greatest model of surrender that we have other than the Blessed Virgin Mary. But that Maximilian's martyrdom did not begin that day in line at Auschwitz. His martyrdom began long before that with a life of surrender, a life of self-sacrifice, a life of martyrdom long, long ago. Then we had Czestochowa, where I preached on Our Lady's scars and explained where they came from with the attack of barbarians there on the image, but that we too have scars, that she bore them openly, and that we too are called to bear our scars and to not be afraid of them, that our wounds are something that can bring others to Jesus, and that she was silent at the cross, and that mercy and forgiveness and love and faith does not have to be loud, that she was silent. And we went on to Fatima Church, and Father John spoke of the miracle of Fatima and how miracles do not convert. The miracle of the sun, how evil continues to speak to us and try to seek us out, but that God has sent his Son, and that he wants us to be delivered back into the family of God. Then we have Mass at the Church of the Presentation, John Paul II's home. And then it was apparent that the Virgin Mary was calling us to her, asking us to consecrate our lives to Christ. And as I walked in, I didn't have a chance to pray in the church. I was praying over there before Mass. But here's another glorious image of Our Lady. The people of Poland love her. And so she continuously stands before us and says, consecrate your hearts to me. Give me your children. Give me your spouse. Give me your work. Give me your life, and I will take it to my Son. She's asking us to trust, and that the Father trusted all by giving his Son to Our Lady. Then we had the silent Mass there in Wawel Cathedral, and that evening we heard the 3 testimonies from Father John, Bill and Carol, and Sister, where Sister talked about how divine mercy is opening the heart of the Father. And then yesterday we were in the Franciscan Church. Father John shared about how being in Auschwitz, we're just moved to righteous anger. We're moved to be angry with what happened there. And then he gave the image of Saving Private Ryan, and he said, earn this. But that we're all called to be like Francis Kowalczyk, of how now he was a missionary to go proclaim the gospel. Take care to guard against all greed. We can't be greedy with what we've received. And that's a temptation in the spiritual life, to want to hoard, to say, Jesus is mine, my Jesus. I know him better than next. I want something special from him. But the more we give, the more we receive in the spiritual life. And that's something that we're not used to. But I promise you, as we go forth from this pilgrimage, 110 of us, the Lord is saying, I want 110,000 to be with me on pilgrimage from our voices. And they can. So we can't be greedy with the spiritual things that we've received. And one of the great ways that we can grow in what we've received on this pilgrimage is to have a sharing of graces. And so perhaps tonight at our dinner tables, let's set aside all of the earthly talk. We've had a lot of laughs. We've had a lot of fun. Had a lot of late nights. Some of us later. Let's set that aside. We can still have fun in Jesus, but let's share the graces of what the Lord has done in our hearts. And so let's remind each other of that tonight at dinner, and as we sit together, let's share so that we can go back and share and not be greedy.